up off the ground, and all you used to do was criticize me. But now I find a good and I emphasize it. See, you would always get so sensitive and try to turn your transgressions into my guiltiness. But now I'm certain of the way I live and what I'm responsible for in this twisted game. And it's such a shame that you try to make pain another word for my name. Whether giving or receiving, it's one and the same. Just one more link in your long ass chain. But it's time to break this frame of my strength for well. Time to jump off this negative cycle we've built. Gave my heart, but my self-respect you won't steal. Now it's time to let you go if you can't hear or feel me. Oh. And then I asked my little sister, and I asked my friend, then I asked my papa once, and I asked him again. Came to the consensus from all them opinions that life is too short to be unhappy. And since I know what I'm worth, there'll be no settling for dirt. Knowing what I deserve is gold. If I want diamonds, then I can't settle for coal. And maybe I was just too strong to let go. And maybe I was just too weak to let it show. And maybe I was just too stubborn to say no. But whatever the case, I can't take it no more.
Questo è della robazza che non so neanche cos'è. Questo è acqua sporca e questo chissà che salsa c'è sopra. Aiuto, 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 aiuto. Aiuto. Buona la carne comunque, solo quella, però è buona la carne. Sono stanca morta, devo dormire. Mi tutta la notte, gira verso di loro. Guarda i miei calzini. La zaina. Vedi, io sono
Four headquarters of the United Nations. One is in New York. You know where the others are? Geneva, exactly. Here, and one is in Africa, in Nairobi. Okay, in the capital of Kenya. In this headquarter here, we have 4,000 people working here. From over 100 different countries. Okay? And you have just traveled. This is international diplomatic territory here. That is why you did all these procedures and security. This is 1.8 square kilometers big, about the size of Monaco, and it is extraterritorial. That belongs to 191 members of the United Nations. Okay? Almost all countries in the world are members of the United Nations. That's what you might know, that the United Nations were founded in 1945 after the Second World War, and the main mission is to keep peace, promote human rights, intercultural relations between countries on a by peaceful means, and also to help in global crisis. For example, you will see a post about HIV. United Nations is called a family of organizations. It's organized, and then you have a lot of under sub-organizations. So we also have the Organization for Drugs and Crime that deal, for example, with trafficking of human beings. And each headquarter has a different focus. In New York we have the Security Council, we have the United Nations Development Organization, UNDP for Development Cooperation. In Geneva we have big conference centers, and we also have such things that we don't come into our mind when we think about the UN, for example, the Telecommunication Union or Postal Union.
I don't get many things right the first time. In fact, I am told that a lot. Now I know all the wrong turns, the stumbles and falls brought me.
Respect for the freedom and the dignity of every human being is at the core of the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Member countries have signed more than 80 treaties to guarantee these rights.
The UN's development activities are everywhere. Development is allowing people to work in their natural location and homes and environment to make themselves self-sustaining.
In an age when human beings have learned the code of human life, no mother in the world can understand why her child should be left to die of malnutrition or preventable disease.
Where was I before the day that I first saw your lovely face? Now I see it every day, and I know that
The UN promotes alternative technologies that enable nations and communities to improve their quality of life without polluting the environment. The United Nations has taken the lead in global efforts that have provided safe drinking water for 1.3 billion people.
What if I
Today's real borders are not between nations, but between powerful and powerless, free and fettered, privileged and humiliated.
The accomplishments of the United Nations were recognized in 2001.
Today, no walls can separate humanitarian or human rights crisis in one part of the world from national security crisis in another. Because beneath the surface of states and nations, ideas and language, lies the fate of individual human beings in need. Answering their needs will be the mission of the United Nations in the century to come.
50 years before you in a house on a street where you lived, maybe I'd be outside as you passed on your bike.